craziest concept cars ever made. Some concept cars look like the future, others look like a dare someone actually took seriously, and a few? They're so insane, you wonder if the designers were even trying to make a car, or just set a world record for most confusing object on four wheels. Today, we're diving into the craziest concept cars ever made, the real ones that pushed engineering, design, and sometimes basic common sense way past their limits. Some were brilliant, some were disasters, but every single one proves one thing: the future doesn't always look the way you expect it. First up is a concept that made people question if it was a car or an alien life form. Back in 2008, BMW threw out the entire rulebook and made a car covered not in metal, but in flexible fabric, stretched over a movable frame. Yes, you heard that right. The Gina could literally change shape depending on your needs. Want raised headlights? They blink open through the fabric like eyelids. Need a different aerodynamic setup? The car's surface would morph in real time. The idea behind Gina was simple but insane. What if cars weren't rigid structures but living, breathing machines? Even now, no other car maker has attempted anything this extreme. And while the Gina was never meant for production, it permanently changed how designers thought about flexibility, weight, and structure. But if you thought a shape-shifting BMW was wild, wait until you hear about a car that wasn't just designed to change, it was designed to fly. Long before flying taxis became a Silicon Valley obsession, Moulton Taylor actually made it happen. In the late 1940s, he built the Aerocar, a fully functional car that could drive to the airport, unfold its wings, and literally take off. It had a top speed of 60 miles per hour on land and 110 miles per hour in the air, powered by a rear-mounted aircraft engine. The Aerocar was FAA certified and legal to fly, but here's the crazy part: it almost went into mass production. Ford even showed interest. The only thing that killed it was market fear. People just weren't ready to park a plane in their driveway. Only 6 were ever built, and today, they're museum pieces that prove flying car wasn't just science fiction, it was real life. But if you think folding wings are crazy, you haven't seen the car that took things underwater. In 2008, Swiss company Rinspeed decided that driving on land was boring and built the Scuba, the first car that could actually dive underwater like a submarine. Inspired by James Bond's Lotus Esprit and The Spy Who Loved Me, the Scuba started life as a Lotus Elise before being completely re-engineered. It's fully electric, can dive up to 33 feet underwater, and uses propellers and jet drives to move through the water. Oh, and it's an open-top design, even underwater, meaning you literally get wet while driving it. Why? Because according to Rinspeed, sealing the car would have made it too heavy. It's part absurdity, part genius, and completely unforgettable. But if you think getting wet behind the wheel sounds risky, wait until you see a car designed to be practically invisible. Revealed in 2015, the F015 looks less like a car and more like a moving VIP lounge wrapped in brushed aluminum. It's fully autonomous, electric, and designed to blur the line between travel and relaxation. There's no traditional dashboard, just 6 massive screens that turn the entire interior into a touchscreen interface. The seats swivel to face each other so you can socialize while the car drives itself. And outside, it uses LED light signals to communicate with pedestrians, literally projecting messages onto the ground. It wasn't just a concept about future mobility, it was about creating an entirely new experience where driving was optional and chilling was mandatory. But if Mercedes wanted to create luxury on wheels, the next concept tried to recreate your entire living room inside a car. When Renault unveiled the Symbioz in 2017, they weren't just thinking about cars. They were thinking about how cars and homes could literally merge. The Symbioz was a fully electric autonomous car designed to dock directly into your house. It wasn't just parked outside, it became an extension of your living space. With a retractable roof, lounge-style seats, and a fully integrated smart system, the Symbioz could serve as an extra room when stationary. And when you needed it to, it would gently detach itself from your living room and hit the road. It was a glimpse into a future where your car wasn't just transportation, it was part of your home's architecture. But if you think fusing your house and your car sounds wild, just wait until you see a car designed with no roof, no windshield, and no doors whatsoever. In 2013, Aston Martin celebrated their 100th anniversary with the CC100, a concept so raw it barely qualifies as a car by modern standards. No roof, no doors, no windshield, just a cockpit, an engine, and sheer madness. Inspired by the classic DBR-1 race car from the 1950s, the CC100 used a 6.0-liter V12 engine and could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds. The idea wasn't to coddle you. It was to throw you into the elements at 150 miles per hour and see if you smiled or screamed. It was built in a one-off pair and showed that sometimes the future isn't about screens and silence. It's about raw mechanical chaos. But if driving through the wind at 150 miles per hour sounds extreme, imagine driving a car designed to literally reshape itself mid-drive, like a living organism. Debuting in 2019, Audi's AIME concept wasn't just about autonomous driving. It was about emotional intelligence. This car doesn't just react to the road, it reacts to you. Using eye-tracking technology, brainwave sensors, and advanced AI, the AIME could adjust its cabin lighting, fragrance, and even soundscape based on your mood and mental state. Stressed? It would dim the lights, play calming sounds, and recline your seat. Excited? It could ramp up the interior brightness and music tempo. Audi wasn't just imagining a self-driving car, they were imagining a car that knew how you felt before you even said a word. But if that sounds futuristic, the next concept didn't just predict your feelings, it tried to predict entire city traffic patterns and drive accordingly. When Toyota rolled out the e-Palette in 2018, they weren't thinking about individual drivers, they were thinking about the entire infrastructure of future cities. The e-Palette is a fully autonomous, fully modular electric pod that could be used as a mobile office, a hotel room, a delivery vehicle, or even a rolling store. Big names like Amazon and Uber jumped on board immediately. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it's designed to think ahead. Entire fleets of e-pallets could self-organize based on demand, creating dynamic transit solutions without the need for parking lots or traditional delivery hubs. But if you think future cars are getting boxier and more practical, just wait until you see a car that's basically a shark in disguise. In the 1950s, GM wasn't content building cars for the road. They wanted cars for the sky. The Firebird series wasn't just inspired by jet planes. They basically were jet planes. The Firebird, I looked like a missile with wheels, powered by a gas turbine engine that could theoretically hit 200 miles per hour. The Firebird 2 added a stainless steel body and an early idea of autonomous driving guided by magnetic highways. And the Firebird 3? That thing had 7 fins, joystick controls, and automated driving tech way ahead of its time. None of them were street legal, none of them made it to production, but they showed one thing. GM wasn't just dreaming about the future, they were trying to outrun it. But if you think a jet-powered car is overkill, wait until you see a concept so eco-friendly it was literally powered by plants. Unveiled in 2010, the Biome wasn't built in a factory, it was supposed to be grown. Mercedes proposed using genetically engineered seeds to grow an ultra-light, organic car made from something called biofiber, a material lighter than metal but stronger than steel. It would run on BioNectar 4534, a biofuel generated by the car's own plants. Essentially, the car would be alive, breathing in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. The concept was never actually built, but the idea that your next car could be farmed instead of forged changed how designers thought about sustainability. But if growing your own car sounds far-fetched, the next concept car didn't just bend reality, it tried to erase it completely. In 1980, Citroën revealed the Carin, a concept that looked less like a car and more like a rolling glass pyramid. It had 3 seats arranged in a triangle with the driver front and center. The design philosophy? Make a car so radically different from anything else that you had to rethink everything about driving. It didn't just look futuristic, it made you feel like you were piloting a UFO. While it never saw production, the Carin's bold angles and cockpit-style layout still influence avant-garde car designs today. But if you think a pyramid car was pushing the limits, the next concept took things even further. It wasn't designed to sit in traffic, it was designed to surf it. Forget aerodynamic edges and sleek profiles. The Peugeot movie looked like a cartoon idea come to life. Unveiled in 2005, it was a bright yellow, completely round, two-seater bubble designed for maximum maneuverability inside cramped cities. Every surface was either clear polycarbonate or eco-friendly material. The wheels were partially tucked inside the body, giving it a floating look. The movie wasn't fast and it wasn't rugged, but that wasn't the point. It was supposed to be the ultimate urban car, tiny, clean, and oddly adorable. But if you think driving a giant hamster ball through downtown sounds crazy, the next car wasn't even made for Earth at all. Before the Apollo astronauts drove the actual lunar rover on the moon, NASA tested a series of concept prototypes here on Earth. Built in the late 1960s, these early designs looked like skeletal moon buggies, featuring massive mesh wheels, fully articulating suspensions, and incredibly lightweight frames. They weren't made to look good. They were made to survive lunar gravity, extreme temperatures, and absolute terrain chaos. No paint jobs, no flair, just pure functional madness. The final lunar rover used some of these wild concepts and became the first vehicle ever driven on another celestial body. But if you thought cars couldn't get more isolated than the moon, wait till you see one designed to move through an apocalypse. In 2009, Cadillac imagined a future where you'd never need to refuel your car again. The World Thorium Fuel concept, casually nicknamed the WTF, was designed to run on nuclear energy, specifically thorium. Just a tiny bit of thorium, properly harnessed, could supposedly power the car for over a century without a single drop of gasoline. It had an outrageous 24-wheel setup meant to distribute weight and maximize control. Of course, there were about 1 million reasons why putting nuclear reactors in cars never actually happened. Safety, regulation, common sense. But as a thought experiment, the WTF still stands as one of the boldest, most dystopian designs ever dreamed up. But if Cadillac was busy building a car that could survive forever, the next concept wasn't trying to last centuries. It was trying to bend the very fabric of driving itself. Unlike most flying car prototypes that stay stuck in a lab, the Terrafugia Transition actually got FAA approval. Built to legally drive on roads and legally fly in the skies, it could switch from car to plane in under a minute. Top speed on land was about 65 miles per hour, and in the air, it could cruise at 100 miles per hour. It ran on regular gasoline, had folding wings, and even fit inside a normal garage. Terrafugia spent over a decade refining it, and by 2022, they were offering it commercially at around $400,000. Still not exactly your daily driver, but definitely one step closer to a future where your morning commute could include takeoff. But if you think driving through traffic is stressful, imagine a car designed to actually hop over it. Revealed at the 1999 Tokyo Motor Show, the Fuyajo wasn't about performance. It was about having a mobile nightclub. The Fuyajo was tall and boxy, with a standing room interior, a DJ-style cockpit, and huge glowing speakers throughout the cabin. Honda imagined it for a future where nightlife didn't end when the bars closed. You'd just jump into your Fuyajo and keep the party rolling down the street. It wasn't about comfort. It wasn't about efficiency. It was about energy, chaos, and pure ridiculousness. And it's still one of the wildest concept cars ever built. But if partying while driving sounds dangerous, the next car skipped danger altogether. It was designed to drive without anyone inside it. Before Waymo became a big player in self-driving technology, Google built the Firefly, a tiny pod-shaped car designed with zero steering wheel, zero pedals, and zero manual control. It had a top speed of 25 miles per hour and was packed with LiDAR, radar, and cameras to navigate completely autonomously. The Firefly wasn't about flash, it was about safety, especially for pedestrians. It looked like something from a Pixar movie, soft, small, and unintimidating. It wasn't built for showrooms. It was built to prove that a car could drive itself without scaring the people around it. But if you think a slow-moving robot car is futuristic, the next concept tried to predict what luxury racing would look like when humans aren't even needed anymore. Unveiled as a 2050 vision, the McLaren MCL Extreme imagines a future where Formula One racing doesn't need drivers at all. Instead, cars would be piloted remotely by human racers plugged into full virtual reality rigs, controlling machines capable of speeds no human body could safely endure. The MCL Extreme is designed to morph its aerodynamics on the fly, actively responding to speed, track conditions, and competitor proximity. It's not just fast, it's shape-shifting warfare at 300+ miles per hour. McLaren wasn't just fantasizing about faster cars. They were asking the real question: when human reflexes aren't the limit anymore, how far can racing really go? But if a shape-shifting race car seems futuristic, the next concept made people wonder if cars would eventually start walking instead of rolling. Revealed at CES 2019, Hyundai's Elevate looks like the aftermath of a mad scientist merging a car with a four-legged robot. It has extendable, robotic legs that allow it to walk, climb, and crawl over debris, collapsed buildings, or even cliffs. Built with disaster response in mind, the Elevate could roll normally at highway speeds, then raise itself several feet to step over rubble or flooded streets. No wheels spinning helplessly. No getting stuck. Just a car that straight up walks away from obstacles. It flipped the whole idea of vehicle mobility upside down and showed that in a real emergency, four legs might beat four wheels. But if a walking car sounds strange, the next concept didn't just walk over terrain. It was designed to drive sideways like a crab. Inspired by James Cameron's Avatar, the Vision AVTR unveiled in 2020 was Mercedes dreaming way beyond normal boundaries. Instead of a steering wheel, it uses a single biometric control pad that reads your heartbeat and breathing. The wheels? They don't just turn, they rotate independently, allowing the car to crab walk sideways. Its organic-looking body pulses with light, and the rear scales move for aerodynamics and communication. Oh, and it's powered by an experimental graphene-based battery that's biodegradable. This wasn't just a concept, it was an alien artifact designed to blur the lines between machine and life. But if a car that moves like a living organism feels too much, the next concept decided the car itself should be able to sprout moving scales. In 2009, BMW didn't just think outside the box, they crushed it. They revealed the Lovos concept, a car completely covered in 260 identical robotic scales that could move independently. These scales acted as aerodynamic brakes, solar panels, and active body panels all at once. When driving at high speeds, the scales would flatten for maximum airflow. When braking or slowing down, they would flare out like a futuristic porcupine. BMW wasn't just questioning what a car should look like. They were questioning whether it should even have a static form at all. Lovos remains one of the boldest and weirdest physical design studies ever attempted in automotive history. Revealed in 2016 for their centenary, Rolls-Royce's Vision. Next 100 made it clear, their idea of the future isn't about rushing around, it's about bringing the palace with you. The 103EX is fully autonomous, with no need for a steering wheel. Instead, you sit in a custom silk-upholstered throne, under a canopy of dynamic lighting, surrounded by handcrafted wood and plush carpet. The exterior design looks like an Art Deco spaceship, and when you arrive at your destination, a red carpet literally projects out of the door onto the ground. Rolls-Royce wasn't just imagining travel, they were redesigning arrival itself. But while Rolls dreamed about traveling in elegance, the next concept decided the future should be pure aggression on wheels. When Lamborghini dreams about the future, subtlety is not part of the discussion. The Terzo Millennio, unveiled with help from MIT researchers, was designed to be electric, fully autonomous, and able to self-heal. Cracks in the carbon fiber body? Sensors would detect micro damage and activate chemical processes to repair them automatically. It also didn't use a traditional battery. It stored energy in supercapacitors for faster discharge and charging. And the design? Pure nightmare fuel. Sharp angles, glowing wheels, and a stance that looked ready to pounce. Lamborghini didn't just want to adapt to the future, they wanted to terrify it. But if a self-healing supercar sounds unbeatable, the next concept didn't need speed at all. It focused on creating an entire experience in slow motion. Debuting in 2018, the BMW iNext concept wanted to make driving optional. and luxury mandatory. It featured autonomous driving, ultra-minimalist design, and massive side windows that turned the outside world into a moving painting. When self-driving mode is activated, the steering wheel folds away and the entire interior becomes a tech lounge, complete with haptic surfaces that let you control music, lights, and air with just a gesture. It was less about horsepower and more about crafting the perfect moving retreat for a hyper-connected future. But if BMW was dreaming about relaxation, the next concept decided the future of transportation might just need no driver at all, or even no passengers. When Nissan introduced the Pivo 2 in 2007, they weren't just showing off electric technology, they were solving one of the oldest urban problems: parking. The Pivo 2's cabin could rotate a full 360 degrees, meaning you could drive straight into a parking space and then just turn the cabin to face forward again when you left. No backing up, no parallel parking stress. It also had 4 independent wheel motors, allowing it to move sideways or diagonally. Nissan imagined it as a friendly robot companion too, complete with an onboard AI assistant that could read your mood and offer suggestions. It wasn't just a new kind of car, it was practically a rolling, mood-sensing living room. But if the Pivo 2 made parking easy, the next concept imagined a future where parking lots might not even exist at all. Back in 2002, GM stunned everyone with the autonomy concept, a hydrogen fuel cell-powered car that didn't just rethink driving, it rethought what a car even is. Instead of a mechanical layout, the autonomy had a skateboard chassis that housed everything: fuel cells, motors, even the steering and braking systems. On top of it, any body you wanted: sedan today, truck tomorrow. The idea was that cities could have modular vehicles shaped to different tasks, and owners could swap bodies without needing a new vehicle underneath. The tech was way ahead of its time, but the dream of the flexible skateboard platform is still influencing EV designs today. But if GM wanted to flatten the future, the next car asked a wilder question: what if your car didn't even need a physical driver's seat at all? Leave it to Rinspeed to dream up something nobody asked for, but secretly everyone kind of wanted. The Oasis, revealed in 2017, was an urban EV concept that didn't just have a self-driving system. It had a literal garden inside. The dashboard had a built-in patch of soil where you could grow plants or herbs while commuting. It had swiveling seats for lounging, a huge windshield HUD for gaming or work, and fully autonomous controls. Rinspeed imagined the Oasis being used for car sharing, ride-hailing, and mobile relaxation. The message was clear: in the future, your commute doesn't have to suck. It could actually be nurturing. But if nurturing a garden inside your dashboard sounds wild, the next car said, forget nature altogether. Let's just drive around in a rolling spaceship. For the Vision Gran Turismo video game series, Chevrolet created the Chaparral 2X, a car so insane it made even concept designers blink. Instead of sitting upright, the driver lays down face first, literally flying like Superman just inches above the ground. It's powered by a laser-based propulsion system, theoretically capable of reaching 240 miles per hour. Everything about the 2X's screams pure science fiction. No doors, no roof, no mirrors. It's the automotive equivalent of a bobsled from another planet, designed purely for speed, insanity, and visuals that broke physics just by existing. But if shooting yourself face first across the asphalt isn't your style, the next concept thought the future needed to be quieter, cleaner, and shaped like a dolphin. Unveiled at CES 2017, the Concept I wasn't about horsepower or acceleration, it was about understanding you. Toyota envisioned a future where cars and drivers formed emotional relationships. The Concept I had an AI assistant named Yui that would learn your habits, predict your needs, and even intervene if it sensed you were upset or distracted. It used colored lighting throughout the cabin to communicate, could take over driving in emergencies, and interacted with you like a friend instead of a machine. Toyota wasn't just designing a car, you were getting a co-pilot, a therapist, and a mind reader rolled into one. But if blending emotions and machinery sounds like the ultimate flex, the last car on this list decided that the future didn't need any compromises at all. It needed pure, surreal spectacle. Unlike many fantasy concepts, the Opel GTX Experimental, revealed in 2018, was designed with a brutally realistic question in mind. What if the craziest-looking car could actually survive mass production? Fully electric, packed with autonomous tech, and designed with clean, simple aesthetics, the GTX wasn't made to shock. It was made to slip naturally into everyday life without losing that sci-fi edge. With flush LED panels instead of traditional headlights, hidden sensors instead of grills, and seamless surfaces throughout, the Opel GTX looked like something 5 years ahead of its time. But it was intentionally built to be affordable and functional too. It wasn't a fantasy. It was a blueprint for where normal cars are actually heading. Unveiled at the 2013 Tokyo Motor Show, the Toyota FV2 threw away traditional controls entirely. No steering wheel, no pedals, just you and your instincts. The FV2 would move based on how you shifted your body weight, kind of like riding a motorcycle crossed with a spaceship. The car would also learn your driving habits over time, adjusting handling and route choices to match your emotions and habits. It even changed its color and exterior displays to mirror your mood. Toyota wasn't just making a new driving interface, they were trying to build an emotional bond between human and machine. But if connecting your body to your car feels high-tech, the next one took a different route altogether, by imagining a car that could literally bend in half while driving. The Audi Pop, up next, revealed in partnership with Airbus and Idle Design, wasn't just a flying car, it was two vehicles in one. On the ground, it's a small, lightweight electric pod with wheels. But when city traffic gets bad, a massive drone system detaches the cabin from its wheels and lifts it into the sky. You don't fly the car summons a drone when needed. Audi envisioned cities packed with automated fleets of pop-up systems, freeing roads and skies simultaneously. It wasn't just transportation, it was modular, hybrid, aerial freedom, all on demand. But if you think splitting your car from its wheels sounds futuristic, the next concept decided the future shouldn't just fly, it should do it at hypersonic speed. The original Bugatti Aerolith from 1935 was already ahead of its time, but Bugatti's 21st century Aerolith concept imagined what that wild DNA could look like today. This car looked less like something for highways and more like it belonged in orbit. Sleek magnesium panels, extreme curvature, and a fighter jet stance gave it a look that felt too aerodynamic for Earth. Though purely a design study, the Aerolith hinted at materials and construction methods Bugatti wanted to use for future hypercars. It wasn't built to go fast, it was built to look fast standing still, a rolling sculpture of speed and ambition. But if building the ultimate ground spaceship sounds extreme, the next concept thought, why stay tied to the ground at all? Airbus took the flying car fantasy and treated it like an engineering problem, not science fiction. The pop-up system was a modular taxi concept that could drive, fly, and coordinate autonomously. Picture this: you hail a pop-up on your phone. It drives itself to your location. The drone module detaches it from the ground chassis, lifts you into the air, and bypasses all city traffic. No pilots, no parking, just seamless multi-mode travel. Airbus imagined entire cities redesigned around these fleets, freeing up roads and reducing pollution at the same time. It wasn't a car, a drone, or a train. It was everything, stitched together by algorithms and autonomy. But if you think future cities will be filled with silent flying taxis, the last concept on this list imagined something even crazier: a car that changes shape like a transformer. While the original BMW Gina Light visionary model stunned the world with its flexible fabric skin, insiders and BMW futurists later teased conceptual blueprints for a Gina 2.0, never built, but heavily speculated. This version would go beyond flexible panels. It would have fully programmable surface tension, meaning the body could actively shift between sports mode, comfort mode, and aerodynamic mode just based on driving conditions. Imagine a car that could literally slim down for speed or puff up for crash protection, all by adjusting its own structural tension dynamically. While Gina 2.0 has never been publicly shown, its internal sketches continue to inspire designers thinking decades ahead. If you enjoyed this ride through the wildest ideas ever put on four wheels, make sure to subscribe. We're just getting started, and the future only gets crazier from here.